Hey everyone, welcome to X's Toy Universe. This is X, and we're taking a look today at JinBao's Sixshot. So this is their second attempt at Sixshot, and it's a pretty neat attempt at six shots, becoming one of my favorite toys, and I'm gonna tell you why in a bit. Now, this is basically what you have inside the packaging. This is the box. This is what's inside the packaging. There's actually a plastic cover inlay as well once you pop him out of the box, and I just kind of took that out so you guys can see what the figure is like. He comes with two swords here and two of this gun. Let's take a look at the package real quick. Some nice package art here featuring Sixshot. No Decepticon logos, of course, because this is not official merchandise. Some Japanese writing here. Don't know what it means. Let me know if you do. Some Japanese writing here as well. And here. And you've got Sixshot in his 6 different modes. Now, the very interesting thing about this is, to be honest with you, yes, there's an instruction sheet, and I kind of lost it while I was trying to set up for the review, but it's fine because you won't need it. This is one of the most intuitive figures that I've ever laid eyes on, and it's a super fun figure to play around with. Now, this is basically the second Sixshot that JinBao's attempted, and this one is a Voyager-size Sixshot. So if you want your Sixshot to scale with probably larger Legends figures, this would be a pretty great Sixshot to have, because JinBao has a larger scale of Legends figures. So there you go. Let's go ahead and focus here on him a bit. So here we have Sixshot in all his glory. Like I said, he is a Voyager-size figure, not necessarily Voyager scale. He might go with some of your larger Legends figures, like I said, for JinBao and everything. But we'll talk about scale a little more later on. For now, let's take a look at the figure himself. So let's talk sculpt-wise. So you've got some nice detailing here. He's not at all bricky. Not like the Titan's Return version, which I did not particularly like. Lots of sculpted detail. Like everywhere. There's almost no single solid block flat surface. Very nicely done. Okay, so let's talk about articulation real quick. So of course, let's start with the head. So the head does a 360. Yes. Now, owing to articulation, he can look up and down. The head is on a ball joint, by the way, but there's also an added joint here for transformation, which you can lock into place if you'd so like. So right now it's locked, but if you want him to go look even lower than he's supposed to, you can do that if you wanted to, of course, but you can lock that into place here owing to the transformation. Now, of course, you have his arm movement, just a swivel joint there. There's some blockage because of the chest wings, but you can move them out of the way if you wanted him to raise his hand. But then again, this is pretty much par for the course for pretty much all Sixshots. Double jointed elbow bend, just the regular swivel joints. They are on ratchets though, and the ratchets are exposed. So ratchet here, this one is not a ratchet, it's just a friction joint. And then you've got pretty much a universal joint here, which has ratchets as well for the hips, but I don't hear them working, so I don't think they made use of the ratchet joints here. Then you've got 360 thigh swivel here, and then you've got a ratchet on a knee bend. It can go almost 90 degrees, pretty much. That's about it. And yeah, the other bits that you have that you can swivel around are this bit, but then again, these are because of the transformation. This bit, there you go. And then you've got some toe articulation here. I do have one complaint about the foot design, because as you can see here, so rectangular design, then there's this odd like extension here, so it's not flat, right? And it gets worse on the other side of the foot. See how that bit is hollow? So yeah, that is pretty strange for the design. Like, you can have him stand like that, no problem, but there's some like poses that you won't be able to, well, I guess you can, you know, if you finagle with him enough, you can be able to get him to do it. But it's just weird that this heel portion is essentially empty, and I feel like I'm missing something here, but no, it is empty. And I feel like that's the only design flaw. Everything else is great. And please don't take that as a non-endorsement of this figure. I still love this figure. This is an excellently done figure. There's so many poses you can do with him, and in such a quick span of time. I mean, given that, of course, there's a lot of obstructions. That's the word I was looking for. There's a lot of obstructions in terms of how Sixshot is typically designed, but yeah, you can get some pretty nifty poses. So yeah, you've got 5mm ports here for the hands, so you can have him hold his swords like so. There you go. So really excellently done. Now, of course, for the wings, you can have him pose like the stock way that Sixshot is supposed to pose with his wings, but you can also have him in the Voltron position if that's the way you want to pose your Sixshot. I personally like the Voltron wings, so I do this with a lot of my Sixshots. But you know, for the purpose of the video, yes, of course, we'll find that there's also just a friction joint here for the wings. So there you go. That's, oh yeah, waist articulation. Forgot to mention that. He has pretty nifty waist articulation. Now, of course, like I mentioned, 5mm ports on the hands, which means you can have him hold a typical blaster as well. So as you can see, that's one of his blasters. And there's a lot of 5mm pegs on his person. So, well, most of it is attributed to the transformation. But if you wanted to just randomly place his guns anywhere else that aren't on the typical place that you would put his guns, you can do so, no problem. But of course, he has, and this is one thing I love over the Mech Fans Toys version, he has this basically a place. It's not a holster, it's just a peg where the holster would be, so you could have him have his gun stored there. Pretty neat. I like it. Now, paint wise, I love the green that they used here. It's more green than usual, to be honest, but I like it. It still tilts aquamarine. Metallic red eyes. I'm not sure if it's being captured in the camera, but yes, metallic red eyes. Really nicely painted. Chest wings as well. Kneecaps have fantastic detail. There's not a lot of paint slop. The interior of the legs is painted gunmetal silver. Just so much detail. I love it. And of course, you've got the wheels. So yeah, there you go. Really nicely done. We'll see about the colors again later when we bring in the other Sixshots that I have, so that we can kind of compare what the colors are like versus some of the other Sixshot figures that have been released. And all of the Sixshot figures that I own are third party. So let's go ahead and do some of the transformations, shall we? Alright, so the first transformation that we're gonna tackle is the attack tank mode. So I've got the MFT version here at the back, as well as the Terminus Hexatron from MMC. And just this box right here, like I said, we don't really necessarily have to follow the instructions, not as much as we would for Terminus Hexatron, because while there's a degree of intuitiveness for Terminus Hexatron, it's not as much as for, say, MFT, and a lot of the design sensibilities or engineering sensibilities apply to this guy as well. So it's going to be fairly simple to put together in terms of any of his 6 modes. So we're gonna go ahead and do that right now. So I'm gonna just disengage all of the weapons. So swords off to the side. I do want to say that for Terminus Hexatron, I didn't really have time to pull out the instructions and review the proper, like actual. So there might be stuff that's not exactly the correct stock transformation for this guy, but you know what? He already broke during the review, so you know what? I don't want to bother anymore. I'm just gonna do a close approximation of what he should be turning into. So first off, we're gonna put together his thighs right here, and yeah, just like the usual, you're gonna want to throw back his legs over here. But the nice thing is, unlike the other figures, he has flip out cannons here. There you go. Actually, this guy has some additional cannons as well. Flip the wings back here. So there you go. You have the ability to, just like Terminus Hexatron, you can store his head inside the chest plate. There you go. So it's at least out of sight, so to speak. And then these claw-like protrusions on his shoulders. And go ahead and move them off to the side like that. And then for this one, now for this, it's already kind of the default position where the tank treads are in the front. For Terminus Hexatron, there's a little bit of a complicated transformation that you need to do to turn around the tank treads. But for these tank treads, very simple, very ingenious. You just have to flip them over to the side like this. And for this one, you're gonna want to match. So you're gonna drop this off at an angle, a Z angle like that. And just, there's a little peg hole here which goes onto the peg on his side. And all you need to do is turn the tank treads, clean it up a bit. There you go. You can slide in the fist as well. So there's a little slider here on the side. There you go. Side. Okay, there you go. Then angle them a little bit, just like the other side. Turn these tank treads around, flip this around. And there you have it, attack tank mode. But the thing is, we don't have the weaponry attached. We're gonna go ahead and do that. So for these guns, you can just go ahead and attach them here. And this one as well. Okay, there you go. This one you don't have to do anything on the inside gap, but there is an inside gap that will be very visible. And then you've got Terminus Hexatron, where you have to just kind of put the guns inside the gap. There's a little notch where the pegs, or the handles rather, of the guns would go. So just a quick comparison of those 3. There you go. So yeah, this is Terminus Hexatron. This is JinBao's. And I just realized you could also do this. You can secure this wing by inserting it into that peg. There's a lot of these that you will notice for the figure. Peg arrangements that can secure the transformation despite being a relatively easy transformation. So yeah, there you go. You can even have him be the battle station for one of your deluxe figures or your legends figures if you want to. So there he is with Scourge. So yeah, let's move on and transform him into Tiger mode. We've got the MFT Wolf or Tiger mode over here on the left side, and the Terminus Hexatron one on the right side. As you can see, I already broke the bicep swivel on the left side of Terminus Hexatron, so he's kind of hanging on to his forearm with one peg. So I've yet to fix that, but hopefully it's fixable But yeah, let's go ahead and transform. See, this is what I keep saying about Terminus Hexatron. See, I was always afraid to kind of play with him, and today doing the review, I was just kind of proven right. Anyway, but this is why this is so good, because I can do all sorts of transformations with him all day, and I'm not afraid to break him at all. The only issue is the size, which we will, take a look at in a bit. But let me just go ahead and disengage these. Then move them off to the side. Hey, by the way, I forgot to show this off, but you can also place the swords here if you're going to have him in tank mode. Let's go ahead and disengage everything. So he's basically his usual form. And see, there's a knee bend here. That allows you to kind of give him that bend. There are paws here that you can move downward. Then disengage these arms. And then have these sections in the Tiger Zord position, like I like to call them. Okay, move up the wings just like that. Okay, so move the arms forward. You can keep the chest wings just like that, no problem. And then you're gonna want to turn these so that the paw arm is in front. There you go. You're gonna want to do the same thing here. There you go. So you have the pegs exposed out there. Just move the tank treads back. Do the same here on this side. Expose the paw. Expose the paw. Just need to pull down the tiger or wolf head. And there you have him. Wolf mode. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, so X, where can I attach the weapons? So, there are pegs here on the side of the wings that you can attach the swords to. There you go. And then, following the stock transformation, just use these pegs and use these holes on either side so you can have him armed up. And there you have him. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, really nicely done figure. You can move the tank treads this way so they're not hitting the floor. There you go. Wolf mode. It's still a little awkward. There's like a whole leg section that's exposed there, but it's a lot like the Terminus Hexatron silhouette, as you can see. Will you be able to move him to certain degrees? Yes, but he's very much like the Tiger Zord. If you are familiar with the Power Rangers Tiger Zord, that's the way he bends, which is, something I personally am a fan of. Fortunately, these paws don't go down from where they are. They just go that way. But yeah, there you have them. So let us try this time the spaceship mode. We got the spaceship mode of MFT here. For some reason, I can't get it to close. It's supposed to close, but I'm not able to do it. But this is essentially what the MFT ship looks like. I'm gonna just, do that. So it looks like it's closed, but yeah, there you go. So with pretty much any version of Sixshot, the guns form part of the wings, and the chest wings become spoilers, or whatever you call those for wings. I don't know what you call them. Same thing for the Terminus Hexatron, which looks pretty badass actually in ship mode. So we're gonna do the same thing for this guy right here. I'm gonna disengage again the weapons. Again, what I love about this particular version is that all I have to do is look at photos and I'll be able to follow what to do for this particular transformation. We need to open up these back sections here and slide his legs in, or slot his legs in, just like most other six-shot figures, and then extend this dangly bit off to the front. Same thing with this side. Okay, there you go. And put that together. Now, the way they have it in the stock instructions is that this part is the front. I'm not too keen on that, so I'm going to flip this part around because, you know, it looks more like how it's supposed to for most other iterations of Sixshot. So we're gonna do that. You can keep the tank treads up, by the way. You're gonna want to just angle these upward all the way. There you go. Then you can either leave the wolf head there, or you can put it off to the back like this, which I'll be doing. Flip up these fins. Those were the words I was looking for. Fins. I could still be wrong, but you know, closer to the intended meaning. And then flip out the wings like this. Now, what I like about this version and the MFT version over the Terminus Hexatron MMC version is that the wings you can actually kind of see. These wings are sort of hidden. I mean, look at them. I mean, you can tell they're wings because you attach the guns to them, but otherwise they're mostly hidden. I don't like that. But these wings, even without the guns, you can tell they're wings, right? So there you go. And then there's a notch here, peg hole for this peg, so you can secure the arm so it doesn't move around. There you go. Just clean that up a bit. And there you have the basic jet mode. Again, the stock transformation says that you should do it like this. I don't know that's what they really want to do, but yeah, you can have him like this, or you can have his guns over here, which is not part of the stock transformation, by the way, but if you want to, you can do that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do it like, well, let's look at what the stock transformation says we should do. We should put his, there's these notches here which you can peg the wings onto. So that's what it's supposed to look like if you were to follow the stock transformation. Then you peg the swords off to the side here. Do the same for the other side. Here you go. So that's what it's supposed to look like if you were following the stock transformation. But if you know, if you want to make it look more like the others, then it'll be like this. There you go. Plane mode. Now let's take a look at car mode, which in this case looks a little bit more like truck mode, and you'll see what I mean. I mean, you can kind of already see it here, but yeah. Okay, so we're switching over from plane mode to car mode. So here we have MFT car mode, and we've got MMC car mode. Now, for some reason, again, I can't bring these legs together. I think it has to do with, because I got the retail version, which has the green legs, and I customized it into purple, and I think I may have done something to it I need to revisit the parts of this and see if I may have gotten the reassembly wrong. But otherwise, that's basically how it looks like. Other than that, it should be, you know, kind of together. But there are gaps here in the front, unlike the really clean version that the MMC has. And we're gonna remove these sections over here. And it's pretty much, you know, smooth sailing from here, because in most cases, if you go from plane mode to car mode, they're very close to each other, to be honest. So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. Turn this around, and then we're going to close the chest wings over here. Remove the swords. Then you're gonna want to bring the wings up, detach them from the pegs, and then move them off to the side here. So it's a little bit like the MFT version. Like I said, the design sensibilities for this version, a lot of them come from this toy, I feel like. So unlike Hexatron, where you have the wings at the back, like the spoilers, so for these ones, you have them in the front. Can you have them at the back? Yes, of course. It's your choice. It's your toy. And it's basically truck mode anyway, so that's fine. You know what? Let's keep it that way first, so you can see everything I'm doing. And then you flip the arms around, disengage them like so. So you want the treads outward, but not to the ground, because the treads are for tank mode. Then you're going to want to connect them again to the peg here. There you go. And then turn this around. So that's going to be the side of your car or truck. So it's going to look like. Okay. So do the same thing here. Disengage all of this. Turn it around. Connect it to the peg. Do a little Z motion here. Clean it up nice. And then bring this wheel down. There you go. That's it. And then if you're gonna follow this, well, the thing is, if you do leave them off to the back like this, you can, but they do kind of look like they're well past the figure. So I guess that's why the stock transformation opts to go like this. So it does look a bit cleaner. That makes sense to me. And then you're gonna want to, again, 6-shot, to be honest with you, while you have stock transformations, you can play with them however you want to. Now, you're gonna want to connect these guns here, one on each side. Same thing here. And then the swords are gonna go on these pegs right here. So go ahead and attach them like that. And there you have your truck mode or car mode, whichever you prefer to call it. So let's do a quick comparison. Here you go. You'll notice that okay, that's the actual size comparison, and that's proportion comparison. Okay, and then you have MMC. Gonna bring it back a bit. There you go. I do think MMC is a cleaner car mode, but this is fairly nice. Like there's gappage here in front, but it's not as bad as MFTs, I feel like. And the thing with MFT is there's not really anything to tab your stuff onto. Like it's kind of loose. So yeah. That again, that gap in the middle is my fault, I think. I'm not sure why, but yeah. So there you go. Truck mode. And then we have one last mode, which is the gun mode, which you can of course in reverse or invert or just, flip around, whatever you want to call it, to make into a submarine mode. We've already got MFT in sub or gun mode, whichever you prefer to call it. There you go. And you've got Terminus Hexatron in, again, this thing keeps popping out, in sub or a very impressive handheld blaster mode. Yes, I love this mode. It's very, very impressive. There's no trigger, but it works. It really works. Hold on, let's handle this. It's very tiny, but it's still a gun, technically. So yeah, we're gonna transform JinBao Sixshot into blaster mode, very quickly removing his weapons. So a little bit of a history here. It was a blaster mode well before any other figures were released, but come Titan's Return, they made it a sub mode, so it's less violent, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that's their interpretation. Okay, so here we have Sixshot. We just need to put him in. Actually, you can keep him mostly in that mode. Yeah, okay, so yeah. I just need to open up the leg panels. Okay. And then, actually, let's disconnect them so it's easier. Flip out the guns. Sorry, if I seem a little distracted, it's because I'm pissed off that the Terminus Hexatron broke right when I was doing a review. Anyway, so there you go. Okay, flip out the leg cannons here, and there you have your basic stuff. Extend this, clean it up a bit, and this bit is already good. Then you just need to swivel these wings downward into a handle position. Now, just like the MFT version, this handle is more like a pretend handle, unlike Terminus Hexatron, where it's for real a handle, like there's no mistaking it. So yeah, there you go. You have your basic parts down, and then you're gonna want to insert the guns on either side so that you can extend the cannon section. There you go. So there he is, and then you're gonna want to be able to slot the blade somewhere, so you just slot them here, pretty much the same place where you had them earlier. So there. So there you have him in his blaster mode. Also an impressive size, to be honest, a hand pistol size. So yeah, there you have him. And let's have him with a Voyager figure real quick. There you have Galvatron and Sixshot. And of course, if you flip him around, you have your Titan's Return official sub mode. So there you have sub mode and gun mode. So there you go. Now you can also flip these ankles around if you want to have a little bit of a variation, which I like to do just so it looks different. And then just clip them together, which is not working for me right now, but there you go. Okay, just so it looks a little different than your usual. But yeah, that's about it for gun mode and sub mode. Now let's turn him back into robot mode, shall we? Size comparison of Terminus Hexatron versus an adolescent cat. So now we've got the other Sixshots in robot mode. Look at the scale difference from Legends class, the supposed masterpiece class. But then again, I'm using class here not in terms of size, but in terms of what they're supposedly marketed as. So, but then again, you know what? That's kind of debatable because MMC supposedly, depending on who you're talking to, they'll tell you that it's either somewhere between CHUG and masterpiece is what they're doing. So this is possibly leader class as well intended. And this is something along the size of deluxe class. I'm just gonna go ahead and put him next to an actual deluxe figure with Orion packs here. See, there you go. He's exactly the size that you would expect for a deluxe figure. And then you have Leader Ultra Magnus here, right next to Sixshot. Sixshot is still a bit taller, despite, you know, Ultra Magnus having new legs there. An upgrade kit. But yeah, thereabouts. You have your proper scaling of figures. Now, the best batch, I'm convinced, for this Sixshot is this Ultra Magnus. So this is New Age Octavian Ultra Magnus. So he's a great fit for that. Now I'm gonna leave these guys off to the side and we're gonna talk more about them later and how they figure into this conversation. Now you'll notice that the MFT Sixshot, this is the retail version, so it's very aquamarine, but there is a slightly tealer version of this with the actual purple painted. But this is like this is entirely ultramarine when you get him. Now you'll notice that Hexatron is a bit more teal with cream arms and face and purple legs as always. But yeah, you'll notice that the colors are wildly different. Not wildly different, but different for this guy. We're going to transform him now back into robot mode. I'm going to remove his guns and swords. Basically, this mode is the easiest. Flip the cannons back. Easiest to transform back from, I would say. Turn the the toes around and then disengage these and then just slide out the fists. Flip out the chest wings, of course. Turn around the shoulder sections. Flip out the head. This thing keeps popping out like... Okay, there you go. My fault, I think. Now, there you go. And we have Sixshot. Now, the thing about this Sixshot is it's a Voyager scale figure. So how would we know that? We would put him next to Alpha Trion over here, who is a smaller Voyager scale figure. Galvatron. There you go. So as you can see, that's the scale. So if you want your Hexatron to be able to size with your Galvatrons and your Scourges and your Cyclonuses, then this is probably the figure for you. But the thing is, I'm sad to say I don't see how I can pair him up with an Ultra Magnus. I was looking through my stuff and I can't find an Ultra Magnus to pair him up with. Here I have Siege Ultra Magnus, and he's way taller than and way bulkier than this Sixshot, so that won't work. And by the way, this has a DNA design kit, but they're disengaged as of the moment of this. This is basically the right size. Here he is with Optimus Prime, as you can see. Yeah, they are pretty much the same height, which is pretty cool. What I'll probably end up doing though is pair him up with, and this is a little sad because, you know, you'd want to pair him up with something similar to these Ultra Magnuses. I will end up pairing him up with Beast Hunters Transformers Prime Ultra Magnus because they do scale really well together. And I guess now I'm giving this Ultra Magnus his own bad guy. So yay, there you go. But as far as an armored Ultra Magnus figure, we haven't gotten one yet. The thing is, Sixshot usually does go with Ultra Magnus, so I'm confident that JinBao will probably come up with an Ultra Magnus of their own very soon, which will scale really well with this guy, and that's what I'm excited for. So now guys, I hope you liked this video review. This is one of the earlier ones for this figure, and that's why I really wanted to get it out to you guys. And supposedly locally this hasn't been going around yet, so that's why I wanted to share this with you guys as well. Anyway, yeah, so there's gonna be a lot more Ultra Magnus and Sixshot videos in the future. If you wanna hear more about them, just go ahead and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon while you're at it. And if you'd like to follow me at x_Paco on Instagram and Twitter, and if you want to see my art, at @the_art of X on Instagram and Twitter as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video review for JinBao Sixshot over here. Till next time, peace out.